Tonight, provincial reaction on Canada dropping some retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. Saskatchewan budget surplus has already turned into a deficit. And reaction from travelers returning home after the Air Canada strike.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Prime Minister Mark Carney announcing this morning that the Canadian government will drop the majority of retaliatory tariffs placed on the U.S. by September the 1st. Jacob Carr has reaction from the provincial government and what the move means for a local shop that sells American goods.
The counter-tariffs being dropped by Carney's government are covered by the Canada, U.S., and Mexico Free Trade Agreement, but the counter-tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos will remain. According to the Prime Minister, the U.S. tariff rate on Canadian goods is at 5.6%.
That remains the lowest amongst all of the United States trading partners. And more than 85% of Canada-U.S. trade is now tariff-free.
The government of Saskatchewan reacted to the announcement, saying it's a step in the right direction, but ongoing discussions about the remaining counter-tariffs are pertinent.
I would just say I'm glad that they're responding. I'm hoping the federal government realizes the seriousness of this. There are potential massive impacts coming because of those extra steel tariffs that the Americans have put on. The problems with the canola tariffs is huge.
But what does this mean for some small businesses in the province, particularly ones that sell American goods? For the Funky Gifter in Regina, the removal of these tariffs will save them more than $45,000 for the rest of the year.
What we're saving is, it's pretty much a house payment, a car, multiple car payments. It's a substantial number. It's a number that, could make or break a business.
Kozak says there were times when he didn't know if the business would stay afloat with the tariffs and movement to buy Canadian-made products, but he credits the Funky Gifter's loyal customer base for keeping the doors open. The business is thankful that the tariffs are being removed and is looking forward to September.
It's going to help. It's going to help lower costs for the consumers. It's going to help lower costs for the small business owners and operators. And it's just going to be a great feeling for all.
Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
We're learning more details about the Premier's upcoming trip to China as canola tariffs continue to hang over the heads of producers. Scott Moe has also extended an invite to Prime Minister Mark Carney and other federal officials to join the trade mission. The trip marks the first time a Canadian Premier has done a trade mission to China in 6 years. While in Asia, the Premier will also make a stop in Japan, meeting up with the Minister of Trade and Export Development, who will be on a separate trip to South Korea. Both Asian trade missions begin September the 6th. Well, Saskatchewan's finances have taken a big hit. What was once projected as a $12 million surplus is now on track to become a deficit of more than $300 million this fiscal year. CTV's Stacey Hine has more on what the province is saying.
Saskatchewan's projected $12 million surplus is now forecasted to become a $349 million deficit. In a first quarter update, the provincial government attributed the change in its financial outlook to a $172 million drop in revenue, mainly driven by the removal of the federal industrial carbon tax from SaskPower electricity bills. Finance Minister Jim Ryder says the province is being affected by global economic uncertainty, but its overall finances remain stable.
We're concerned about it. We're going to keep a lid on expenses, but we're overall we're probably in the best financial situation of any province in the country.
Revenue from non-renewable resources is also projected to fall by $30 million due to lower oil prices and a higher exchange rate. The province is also spending an extra $80 million in wildfire costs. This is NDP finance critic Trent Wotherspoon shredding a copy of the budget back in March, signaling his lack of confidence in it. Now he's echoing those thoughts.
Who could have guessed it? Sask Party's budget that they brought forward is completely nonsense.
As the province begins preparing its next budget, Ryder says the focus will now be on looking for savings.
And look for places to save money, but at the same time, we're not going to do it at the expense of healthcare, education, or the other services that people in Saskatchewan expect.
Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Canada's air travel landscape continues to play catch-up after job action at Air Canada that came to an end this week. Damian Smith checked in with travelers in Regina today to find out how they navigated the aftermath.
We think the worst is behind us.
It's been a whirlwind of a week at the Regina International Airport, with Air Canada's flight attendants going on strike. The airline continues to ramp up operations after reaching a tentative deal with the union on Tuesday. Some passengers were stranded for days.
From everybody working, like the agents working at the desks, and those people were absolute angels. Air Canada completely dropped the ball on this one.
While others had better luck.
It's perfect. We were supposed to leave Athens at 1:20 Athens time on Thursday, and we left 1:20. Got to Toronto. We had a 17-hour layover, which was what it was going to be anyways.
According to Bogus, the strike has had a substantive impact on the airport's revenue.
I'm sure, though, collectively as Canadians, we're feeling some relief. Air Canada is a major carrier for our country. It serves over 35% of the capacity from Regina. It was very disruptive. So we're certainly feeling relief locally.
Attendants for Air Canada will begin voting on a new tentative agreement next week that raises wages and establishes a pay structure for the time worked when planes are on the ground. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
SaskTel customers were experiencing some problems in trying to call out using their cell phones today. The company says the outage began around 8:30 a.m. Friday, impacting cellular calling and business customers, but emergency services did stay online. SaskTel customers calling out from cellular met with a call failed message. It says both cellular network calls and business voice services have now been restored. Don't need a cell phone to talk to Sabine about the weather. We've got it right here for your first look. Sabine, the weekend looking
sunny. Well, sunny and warm. It's just not going to be as hot as we have experienced some of the last weekends and actually last few days. Apart from today, we did have some cooler temperatures today, and even yesterday was starting to get a little cooler, but today we did see those temperatures not really get into the seasonal range. Actually, some areas just barely getting to 20 degrees. We also did have the strong wind gusts coming through parts of the province. In particular, if we're looking at southern Saskatchewan, many areas saw those wind gusts up to about 65, 70 kilometers an hour. Now, as you can see, our current temperatures are not really as warm as we have been seeing, and that's not too bad for as we're heading into the evening. Now, as we get into tonight, those temperatures are going to be well below the seasonal. 10 degrees is the average low. Tonight, we could expect to get it even cooler than that 8-degree low that we had earlier this morning. But warm-up is on the way, and I'll have all those details coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thank you, Sabine. Insurance claims are rolling in across Saskatchewan following Wednesday's storm. SGI says it received 496 auto claims related to storms in Saskatchewan on August 20th and 21st, in addition to 115 property claims. Municipal Hail Insurance says it received 500 crop insurance claims in Saskatchewan related to the storms and is expecting that number to reach 1,000. Severe weather expert Jenny Hagan says that this will probably end up being the largest storm event of the season, where certain parts of the province saw golf ball-sized hail.
This is probably going to be up there with one of the major events, especially as far as insurance claims and everything like that in the province for the whole season, if not probably in the last 5 years.
Hagan says that storms as powerful as Wednesdays aren't usually seen this late in August. Well, during the signing of Treaty 4 territory, a chief declined to add his signature to the document because half of the people he represented were not present. Now, 151 years later, Muscopheating First Nation is talking about changing their name to honor that chief. Mick Favel has more.
Muscopheating Saulteaux Nation, located 60 kilometers northeast of Regina, is having conversations of a name change in honor of their inaugural leader, Chief Chikak.
It's good to have a consultation with the members that are involved, because I think that's where you you need to take the direction from, and that, as a leadership, that's what we're going to do, is we're going to take direction from our members, and we don't think we know better than anybody else, and we're willing to take direction, we're willing to listen.
Chief Chikuk signed on to Treaty 4 on September 8th, 1875. He represented the nation that would go on to become Muscopheating Saulteaux Nation. For many years, little information was known about the chief, but now the nation is working hard to uncover who he was.
This is the era of truth and reconciliation, and often we hold government and industry to standard to that, but sometimes we need to reconcile with ourselves, and today that's what today's conversation was reminding our people that we come from Chief Chikuk.
Muscopheating is currently working with Joan Holmes and Associates, a firm digging into the nation's history and Chief Chikuk.
We found Chiefs Chikuk and Muscopheating in pre-treaty records. Chikuk, we found him around the elbow of the South Saskatchewan. We found him near Fort Pelly.
The firm is currently putting the finishing touches on a research document on the chief. For now, consultation between the band members will continue until everyone has a clear understanding of a possible name change.
I want to bring some of the people out to bring more history and more of their research to our people, so they know our history. I think that the more they're comfortable with what we're presenting, the more comfortable we can make an easier decision on what to do.
Mick Fable, CTV News, Muscopheating Saulteaux Nation.
Métis Nation Saskatchewan is sounding the alarm over addiction and gang activity that's tearing communities apart. The group has declared a state of emergency and wants to build a new treatment center. Laura Woodward has more.
Brennan Morasti and Beverly Fullerton have both struggled with addiction. Now, as leaders within Métis Nation Saskatchewan, they want to make a difference.
I have done, institutional time at a federal prison. And so having been through the street life myself and finding a journey that worked for me and acknowledging that over the last X amount of years, there's a lot of Band-Aid solutions.
Métis Nation Saskatchewan wants to build a new treatment center focused on land-based traditional healing.
I could walk through a treatment center with my eyes closed and go through the programs and walk out, and I'm back to square one. I'm back in the line of fire, so we need to approach it differently.
The proposed site is near Batoche, but plans are still in early stages. It comes as Métis Nation declared a state of emergency, sounding the alarm over addiction, gangs, and violence it says are destroying communities.
The uses of drugs have changed tremendously. So we're seeing more of a rise of crystal meth, fentanyl, which is now increasing the overdoses.
And Fullerton says gang recruitment is starting younger.
We have youth as young as 10 years old joining gangs.
Métis Nation hopes the state of emergency will bring provincial and federal governments to the table. The province says it shares the same desire to expand access to addictions treatment and looks forward to speaking with members of Métis Nation Saskatchewan about their ideas.
There's local leadership and agencies that say everything is great, like the icing on top is sweet and tasty, but everything underneath is crumbling. We can no longer avoid the realities. We need to bring attention to it. We need to have those real hard conversations about the lack of resources, the realities our people are facing.
A raw warning from those who themselves have been in recovery, now pushing for change. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
And ahead of I Love Regina Day tomorrow, the city of Regina has officially established their merch at the airport's entry point. Walking down the escalator and on the right side, I Love Regina apparel will be available for those looking to buy souvenirs or for those who want to wear them around the city. Although merchandise has been sold in the past, this is the first time people can pick up apparel at the airport.
This expansion reflects our city's ongoing commitment to strengthening civic pride and promoting Regina as a great place to live, work, and visit.
We are proudly the 15th busiest airport in the entire country, and of course the capital of Saskatchewan. We are southern Saskatchewan's gateway, and we want to represent that in the way we look, the way we feel, but also the products and services that are available right here at YQR. And having this enhancement to the tourism info booth with products from our beautiful city does exactly that.
I Love Regina Day starts tomorrow with a celebration at 9 a.m. at Victoria Park. Still ahead, more on Canada's decision to drop most retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. and a delay in deposits for people who receive disability benefits. Prime Minister Mark Carney is taking a new approach in stalled trade talks with the United States, extending an olive branch of sorts. The Prime Minister announcing today Canada will remove retaliatory tariffs on some products that comply with the existing North American Free Trade Deal. Abigail Bimman has the details from Ottawa.
After a phone call with the American president yesterday, the Prime Minister is now trying to sell Canadians on the idea that no new deal with the United States is actually the best trade deal in the world.
We're matching what the United States has done, what the president has done. We have the best deal of any country with the United States right now.
As of September 1st, Canada will drop counter tariffs on U.S. goods covered by CUSMA. Those have been an irritant for Trump, and the Prime Minister indicated that in their Thursday phone call, Trump said getting rid of them would kickstart negotiations. Carney saying they're now intensifying. In the Oval Office, the president now saying he wants to be very good to Canada.
He's removing his retaliatory tariffs, which I thought was nice, and we're going to have another call soon. Yeah, we had a very good call.
You're getting closer towards an agreement on trade?
I like them.
Carney is trying to sell this as matching the U.S., using that word multiple times, since the U.S. has no tariffs on CUSMA-exempt goods. But the tariffs that remain from the U.S. on steel and aluminum are higher than Canada's.
We're not raising those today. We've matched the tariffs on autos, similar structure as the U.S. We do have a difference between our tariff on U.S. steel and our tariff on U.S. aluminum. Those are part of the intensive discussions that we're underway right now.
Ahead of the announcement, the Prime Minister brought Cabinet together in a virtual meeting, and the minister responsible for U.S. trade briefed the rest of caucus after. Carney also said the renegotiation of CUSMA could take as long as 18 months to work out. Trade experts say what happens there will be the real issue for the long term. The Prime Minister is also promising a new, quote, industrial strategy in September for all sectors hit by tariffs, mentioning autos and agriculture in particular. The Prime Minister has long talked about diversifying trade partners in the face of the U.S. trade war, and next week he heads to Germany to work on that, bringing along a handful of key ministers with him. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
More Americans are applying for refugee status in Canada. That's according to the nation's Immigration and Refugee Board. Data shows more Americans applied for refugee status in the first half of 2025 than all of last year, and more than any year since 2019. 245 refugee claims listed the U.S. as their country of alleged persecution. The data does not say why the claims were made. Roughriders News reports some lawyers are hearing from more trans Americans wanting to leave. To gain asylum, refugees must convince Canada's Immigration and Refugee Board nowhere in the U.S. is safe for them. And there are concerns today for rely on disability benefits, with reports that people have not received them. CTV's Adrian Gobriel now on the delay in direct deposits.
Canadians who depend on federal disability benefits have been left with an empty feeling at the ATM this week.
I checked and it's not there, and I went, okay, no breakfast.
In July, Ottawa began making payments through its new federal disability benefit that tops out at $200 a month for a total of $2,400 a year.
It lets them buy some essential over-the-counter painkillers, maybe, pay for their food, pay a backlog of bills and debt, pay their rent.
This past Thursday, Canadians living with a disability, like Victoria State, were supposed to receive the program's second payment. Many have been left empty-handed.
Excuse me, you started a program for people who are struggling.
CTV News called the Canada Disability Benefit Call Centre hotline. We were greeted with this voicemail.
Due to a system issue, some Canada Disability Benefit payments issued by direct deposit for the month of August 2025 will be delayed. We apologize for the inconvenience.
In March, Prime Minister Mark Carney eliminated multiple cabinet positions, including the now former Minister for Diversity, Inclusion, and Persons with Disabilities. Advocates say issues like this are proof that Carney's move was a mistake.
This basically means that we are lumped into a huge portfolio that the current Minister of Jobs and Families is responsible for. So we are not a top priority.
We asked the federal government for an explanation as to why payments haven't been made. A spokesperson didn't directly answer our question, saying in part, they are pleased to confirm that the majority of CDB payments are completed. A limited number of client payments remain outstanding due to an isolated systems issue.
You don't start a program and then drop the ball. Thank you very much. You people are getting a paycheck. You got a paycheck because you can get food. I don't got a paycheck, and I got no food.
There was some good news late this afternoon. Following our questions to the federal government, we began to hear from some who say they've now received their deposits. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Aurora, Ontario.
Multiple people are dead, including a child, after a tour bus traveling back from Niagara Falls rolled over and crashed in upstate New York.
We have some folks that have some head injuries. We have some folks that have some extremity fractures. 2 patients from the operating room right now, one with internal injuries that are being managed and one with a severe extremity injury. And then we have several folks still getting evaluated of lesser complexity.
How many people were killed, but there were more than 50 on board. Other passengers still trapped, with rescue efforts underway this hour. Police say most on board were injured, with some being ejected from the bus. New York's governor says her team is coordinating with officials working on the rescue. In the Middle East, the world's leading authority on food crisis has declared the Gaza Strip's largest city is gripped by famine. The United Nations-backed IPC panel says without a ceasefire and an end to restrictions on humanitarian aid, famine is likely to spread across the territory. The latest alarm comes after months of warning from aid groups that high levels of starvation were spreading among civilians, especially children. The report says more than 500,000 people in Gaza, a quarter of the population, face catastrophic levels of hunger, and that many are at risk of dying from malnutrition-related causes. NATO Secretary General met with the Ukrainian president in Kyiv today to discuss weapons and ensuring the safety of Ukraine after the war.
When we talk about security guarantees, let's also agree that there are 2 layers. Layer number 1 will be after a peace deal / a long-term ceasefire, or a combination of the 2. The first layer has to be for the Ukrainian armed forces to be as strong as possible to defend this proud country and nation going forward. And the second layer has to be the security guarantees provided by Europe and the United States.
To agree to a peace deal with Russia, Ukraine wants assurances that it can deter any future attacks by the Kremlin's forces. Zelensky says that means a strong Ukrainian army that is provided with weapons and training by Western partners. And SpaceX has launched a secretive U.S. military craft into orbit.
Engines full power and liftoff. Go SpaceX, go USS F-36.
A Falcon 9 rocket lifted off late last night, carrying the X-37B drone on its 8th mission. U.S. officials say the craft will perform a wide range of test and experimentation objectives. The next generation technologies include laser communications and the highest performing quantum inertial sensor that's ever been tested in space. Coming up, we'll introduce you to a Calgary grad who has plenty of options for medical school.
A new report says 1 in 5 businesses could close in the next year. Monday on the show, why the CFIB is sounding the alarm about tariffs for small businesses.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live, weekdays 6 to 9.
Take a look at your forecast heading into tonight and into tomorrow. The sun is out. We did start out a little cloudy in Regina for part of the day, and then the sun came out. The temperature didn't really warm up that much more than what we started with in the morning, but we are currently sitting at 20. Oh, so now we're just going to continue to see warm up as we head into this evening. I was going to say the warmest we got to was about 19 degrees, but we are now sitting at 20 degrees with the winds still picking up to about 40 kilometers an hour. Now in Regina, those winds were gusting close closer to about 65, 70 kilometers an hour late this afternoon. We will start to see those winds calm as we head into tonight and then over the weekend. And this is what we did have over the last couple of hours. So that's where we were seeing most of that cloud cover come through for lots of Saskatchewan. As we head into tonight, we will start to see a lot of this cloud cover that we're seeing in eastern Saskatchewan continue to head over into Manitoba, leaving us with mostly clear conditions as we head into tonight and into the overnight for most of Saskatchewan. But as we start our weekend tomorrow, you can see around Saskatoon, Wynyard, and then again along the eastern border there, a little bit more of that cloud cover. Southern Saskatchewan should see mostly sunny conditions, but could later in the day see just a mix of sun and cloud. The one thing is certain, though, we will see more sunshine into tomorrow, and then by Saturday night we're going to see clear conditions heading into the evening and even clear conditions into Sunday. Again, could see a little bit of that cloud cover rolling through, as you can see coming from the north. Saskatoon still seeing a mix of sun and cloud, and then again by late afternoon it's again the southeast seeing a little bit more of that mix of sun and cloud, but mostly clear conditions for much of the weekend, and temperatures gradually warming back up into the 20s. You can see much of the province will see those cooler temperatures. Even tonight, La Loche getting to just 9 degrees as a low, 7 for Lloydminster and Prince Albert, the average of course being about 10 degrees. 20 degrees tomorrow for Prince Albert, 22 for La Loche and Lloydminster, 19 for L'Orange, 20 for Saskatoon, a little cooler over in Yorkton at 18 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud, 23 and a mix of sun and cloud for North Battleford in the southwest. Again, not really expecting to see many areas get into that seasonal range of about 25, 26 degrees, but close. Maple Creek, 23 degrees, 22 for Swift Current and Moose Jaw, and 22 also for Assiniboia, where Weyburn and Estevan getting to 21 degrees. And again, cooler night tonight, 6 degrees for Weyburn, Assiniboia, 7 for Estevan. And for us here in Regina, clear night tonight, but very cool tonight at 7 degrees and warming just to about 21 degrees tomorrow with sunshine throughout most of the day. The winds up to about 40 kilometers an hour. And as for the next 7 days, we do see that gradual warm-up return as we head into next week. It's just this weekend that's going to take us a little slow start to get into that warm-up again. So 21 and sunny tomorrow, winds at about 40 kilometers an hour. Sunday, 22 degrees and nothing but sunshine. And then as Monday starts, we're back into average range, 25 and sunny on Monday, 27 and sunny on Tuesday. And we're not completely losing those very warm temperatures. By Wednesday, we are back up to about 30 degrees for your daytime high, 29 expected on Thursday and Friday, and even the winds a little calmer, getting up to about 15 kilometers an hour. So as of right now, it does not look like we're going to be seeing much in terms of rainfall overnight or during the day. We're going to see a cooler than the average weekend, but still a lot of sunshine expected. So you can still get outside and enjoy the beautiful weather.
At least the winds are down.
Yes, much calmer than what we had yesterday and today, for sure.
Today, yeah, I felt like Mary Poppins a little bit out there. It was flying.
I would like to see that.
Okay. I'll give you the video.
Okay.
But not the viewers. They don't get it. Thanks, Sabine.
Bye.
Post-secondary students apply to a number of grad schools, hoping to be accepted by one of them. A 19-year-old from Grand Prairie, Alberta, got a little more than she expected when she was accepted by 7 Canadian university medical programs. Kevin Fleming has more.
She's the youngest in her class of 180 students at the Cummings School of Medicine. Aura Maxwell is 19 and applied to UBC, U of A, U of C, Dalhousie, the University of Toronto, along with Western and McMaster universities. She was accepted to all of them.
I FaceTimed my mom. She was jumping around. She was screaming. I called the rest of my siblings and my dad as well. I told my friends. And it was just the most surreal feeling. I burst into tears. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a doctor.
It's not easy getting into med school. Applicants need a grade point average of 3.90 and an undergrad degree that typically takes 4 years. Dua Fatima is in Maxwell's class and says it's a challenging process for everyone who wants to become a doctor.
But to be able to get into 7 is insane, because then that means she got into out of province schools where the margin to get in is incredibly small. It's 1 or 2 applicants sometimes in some of these schools.
Maxwell chose the U of C because she's from Alberta and likes the flexibility of the program that's similar to Queen's University, where she finished her undergrad a year early, thanks in part to her mentors.
And it's amazing just to continue to watch her journey and continue to watch her journey into the future.
But it was a sort of excited, energetic curiosity that made me think, this is someone really made for enjoying the sciences and enjoying education and learning.
Maxwell's mom is proud of what her daughter has accomplished before turning 20.
It's amazing, not just for the achievement that she's made, but the work that she's put into it, her dedication in it.
Maxwell says she fell in love with medicine at Queen's and is excited at the prospect of becoming a doctor one day. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
Still ahead, the Riders head to Calgary to face the only team they've lost to this season.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
The Riders are hoping for a different result against the Calgary Stampeders tomorrow. That's the only team they've lost to this season. Last time these two teams met back in July in a game that was delayed by smoke. And when the game finally did happen, the following day, the Stamps walked out of Riderville with a 24-10 win, winning the battle not just on the scoreboard, but in the trenches as well, dominating both lines.
Certainly, they've played a physical brand of football all year, and we have, I think, for the majority outside of, I thought they got us in that department. So, it was a little bit of a kick in the teeth, so to speak, for us, and we definitely needed it. And I think we've been good ever since. So
they're very good at what they do, and they understand what they're trying to do and how to attack people, and they read routes really, really well. They have a couple good players that make things difficult, that are rob situations, and they play with great leverage and understand timing and depths to certain routes, and so and they have a good front, and so they have all the makings of it. But it's a great challenge for us, and we look forward to bringing the fight to them.
Kickoff is 5 o'clock tomorrow on TSN. A few years, the Saskatchewan Junior Football Hockey League was started, but it was a couple years ago for sure, filling the void after players finished playing in the under-18 division. But what's after junior? Well, starting this year, women will now have an option to keep hitting the ice. Donovan Mace explains.
Saskatchewan's newest hockey league is expanding the opportunities for women to continue playing the sport.
It's been a long time coming. We kind of had this idea in the back of our heads for a while.
Like anything senior hockey in Saskatchewan, this league has its beginnings on Coffee Row,
The Main Track Cafe in Weyburn.
Spawning from a love of the game and the wonder of why it wasn't there before.
There's just one thing from around in Saskatchewan here that all the boys are playing senior hockey, and we're like, well, why can't we have it?
It was really overwhelming to see how many people wanted this for girls in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan has a strong connection to the senior hockey circuit with more than 100 men's teams in 24 leagues across the province. And when the puck drops for the SSWHL with 10 teams in October, it will be the first time these girls have a league of their own.
The girls coming up that have dreams of playing somewhere, but knowing that there's always going to be a place for them, and also all the girls who are scared in their senior years have their next place to go after.
According to Hockey Canada, more than 108,000 women and girls participated in local programs across the country in 2023 and has the goal of 170,000 girls playing the game by 2030. Organizers hope this league keeps them in it longer.
You give your whole life to hockey, to a sport, and then all of a sudden it's over. And then what? Like, I want that opportunity for myself and also for, the future generations as well.
Keeping them playing hopefully gets them more involved coaching, helping out, being a part of the community still, which I think is what a lot of us lose after.
Opening weekend for the SSWHL is set for October 17th to 19th. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Saskatoon hockey star Emily Clark recently re-signed with her team, the Ottawa Charge, earlier this month, possibly making her one of the highest paid players in that league. The contract secures her through Ottawa to the 27-28 season, and while the PWHL and Players Association doesn't release salary information, the Associated Press is reporting two people with knowledge of league payroll structure says Clark's six-figure salary broke the record in restructuring the third and final year of her existing contract. The report says she will be among 9 players making more than $100,000 this season. And it was a golden week for two Saskatchewan basketball players who represented Canada and brought home some hardware from South America. Brittany Poitras has a story.
Saskatchewan players Jade Belmore and Gage Grasick brought home a gold medal from the Junior Pan American Games in Paraguay. The team competed for Team Canada in 3-on-3 basketball, bringing home a huge win to the province and country.
It was an incredible and remarkable feeling of just being handed that gold medal and, like representing Saskatchewan. Like I really felt like I felt proud to represent Saskatchewan in Canada, and just be there was such a surreal feeling.
The name Belmore rings a bell around Regina as the star of the University of Regina Cougars basketball team. Grasick's stacked-up resume and work ethic on the court is what earned her a spot on Team Canada's roster.
It was really exciting, and to come home with that gold medal for not only Canada, but for Saskatchewan as well, and our universities was really special.
Although there is a known rivalry between the Cougars and University of Saskatchewan Huskies, these players only focused on being teammates this week.
Obviously, the rivalry against the Huskies is very tough to kind of get after, but no, she's an awesome person, awesome basketball player.
Both players have their eyes on the prize for an even higher level of basketball, with sights on the upcoming Olympics.
That's been a goal since I was really little, and I've always dreamt of doing that and kind of being there, but I'm just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah, definitely eyes on the prize for, hopefully the Olympics. I think as soon as I started playing basketball, it was always a dream of mine.
From the prairies to the podium in Paraguay, these Saskatchewan athletes are showcasing excellence on an international stage and may even represent Canada once again at the 2028 Summer Olympics. Brittany Poitras, CTV News, Regina.
Coming up, corn farmers are also dealing with drought in Ontario.
We're going to take a look at your rural forecast. So heading into tomorrow, we are going to see some cooler than seasonal temperatures, more so in eastern Saskatchewan with a little bit more of that cloud cover. And then over in western Saskatchewan, especially down in the southwest, we could see those temperatures get very close to what the average is, which is about 25 degrees. But as you can see, Hudson Bay cloudy and 17 tomorrow, 18 for Wynyard and Melfort with a mix of sun and cloud. And then over down in Kindersley, 23 with a mix of sun and cloud, 22 degrees for Meadow Lake, Lloydminster, Outlook, and 20 degrees for Spiritwood and Watrous. And then closer to the southern border, similar temperatures, but again by Leader Maple Creek area, we'll see mid-20s as daytime highs are getting close to the mid-20s with a little bit more sunshine. And then down over in eastern Saskatchewan, Kenora, 18 degrees, 19 for Broadview and Carlisle with a mix of sun and cloud. And Lumsden, Pilot Butte, nothing but sunshine, 21 degrees. If we take a closer look at Laloche, warming up to 22 degrees tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud. Could actually start to see things really clear up later in the afternoon and see mainly sunny conditions. 22 degrees with the winds quite calm tomorrow, anywhere between 5 to 10 kilometers an hour.
Farmers in the prairies aren't the only ones dealing with drought. Dry conditions have growers in Ontario worried about this year's crops, especially corn. CTV's Luke Samard has the story.
No signs of sprinklers or irrigation systems working around the clock to keep crops hydrated during this dry summer.
So if we didn't have the irrigation, we'd be in a lot of trouble like right now, because you've got to have water when it's 40 degrees day after day, night after night for months. That puts a lot of stress on your soil, on your crops.
With irrigation systems comes additional costs to produce the crops.
You have to add that to the cost of production and pass that on to the consumer, because this is one of those years where it just never stopped irrigating.
Producers around Simcoe County without irrigation systems feeling the heat when it comes to this year's corn crop.
As far as I've been ever on the farm, this is the worst we've ever seen, but we have been getting through. It's been a challenging year, but we're seeing lots of good produce as well.
With the rainfall this week, producers seeing relief in the fields.
This sweet corn that's coming up has benefited hugely from all the wet weather that's coming. growing. So all our crops coming up are looking fantastic. It'll be great for our sweet corn, great for our cold crops and all the upcoming produce.
Simcoe County was expected to produce 75,000 acres of corn this summer, a number that won't be reached due to conditions, including a cold and wet spring season.
With the heat and drought in the past while, there are some areas in the county and across the province that have been hit very severely.
With most in Simcoe County asking for a bit more rain.
That rainfall on, this week on Tuesday, that was pure gold.
Always more rain's good. As a farmer, we're always thrilled to have rain. That's great.
Luke Simard, CTV News.
Stock markets both on the way up today. The TSX up 277 points. The Dow Jones up by 846 points. Canadian dollar up almost 0.4 cents to 72.31 cents US. Cracked the 72 mark. Gold up $33.16. West Texas Intermediate crude up 14 cents. Western Canadian Select crude up $1.18. Everything was going up today except gas. Still finding it at $1.35.9 cents per liter.
Canadian consumers were spending more in June than they did in May. Retail sales were up 1.5%. Canadians spent $70.2 billion, with the biggest increase in the food and beverages sector. In a provincial breakdown, Ontario residents spent the most, buying more vehicles and car parts. In BC, consumers were stocking up on building materials and garden equipment. Meg Energy, an oil producer in Alberta, is accepting a takeover bid by a major oil and gas competitor, Cenovus. It's a deal worth just under $7 billion. Meg's board had recently spurned a hostile takeover bid by Strathcona Resources. The Cenovus deal still has to be approved by Meg's shareholders. North American markets got a big boost today after the U.S. Federal Reserve Chair said he's open to adjusting monetary policy. It signals an interest rate cut in September. That sent the Dow shooting up today at one point more than 900 points, the NASDAQ more than 400. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Coming up after the newscast, we've got Celebrity Jeopardy. Who's on it tonight? I don't know. Gonna have to watch to find out. Fear thy neighbor. Fear thy Jeopardy.
And just like that, a new show was born.
Let's move on. World's oldest person just turned another year older.
That's right. Ethel Caterham celebrated, did I say that right?
I don't know.
Celebrated her 116th birthday yesterday with her family in Surrey, England.
Nice.
She earned the title of the world's oldest living person back in May when it was confirmed by Guinness World Records. Ethel was born in Shipton, Bellinger, Hampshire. I feel like you should be reading this, but in 1909, and is the second youngest of 8 children. She has 3 granddaughters and 5 great-grandchildren. She said the key to a long life is finding a hobby you love and making friends through it.
There you go.
Note to self. All right, well, turtles are not known. That was a great segue. Turtles aren't known for their speed, but this one might be.
Clipped him into a cell phone holder on his bike so the little guy could see sights he's never seen at speeds he's ever been through. Looks like he kind of liked it, or he was scared silly. Not quite sure.
I feel like they enjoyed it. I don't know if it's a he or she, but I feel like they enjoyed it.
I don't know. Looked a little shell-shocked.
Oh, we were doing so good.